This past Sunday, I went and saw Rossellini's Journey to Italy at that Golden Age cinema in Surrey Hills, and what a fulfilling time I had. One of Rossellini's many great films, Journey to Italy is blessed with imaginative, dramatic set pieces and settings, an engrossing photographic spirit, some of the better performances in English language cinema at that time, and an atmosphere so potent it renders many a Hollywood stage as comparatively sterile. This is the ultimate film about how the English speaking world, at least at one time, perceived Italy, and may have informed, or I wouldn't be surprised if it had, Fellini's gearing of Rome toward non Italian sensibilities as an exotic and gallantly modern dimension in 1960s La Dolce Vita. And then there's the general process of the script, which no doubt would have many audiences balking at the conclusion of. Journey to Italy's final moments could demonstrate to some that the culture and films of the pre mid 1960s were so one note, highly binary, and of possessing values which assumed the most simplistic caricatures of human, or especially male female, as received gospel and simply revelled in it. Now, I would conversely suggest that the conclusion of Journey to Italy displays the great complexity of human beings and their intimate relationships in one moment, and we don't know what happens afterward, but for one moment, due to one briefly stressful circumstance, Catherine and Alex, Bergman and Sanders, erase from their minds the prior 80 minutes. Based on the cut I watched at the screening, I've seen a slightly longer cut before, and interestingly, I don't think the film was significantly injured by the brief edits, although I'll confidently presume the longer version to be still overall the superior. Prior 80 minutes of the film, erase that and embrace their love and insist that they never leave each other. As in Ozu's late spring, Journey to Italy script is about building up to its final pre-Finn moments. It doesn't matter if Catherine and Alex choose to split at some stage afterward from what we see in the film. The magic is that for one brief moment, no matter what happened before or what will happen after, they announce to one another that they would never, ever consider parting again. I love Journey to Italy, as I said before in an upload on Germany Year Zero. I love many of Rossellini's films, but especially those he released during the 1950s, of which Journey to Italy is perhaps the most celebrated, although my favourite of his from that decade would sooner be either The Flowers of St. Francis, Europa 51, The Machine That Kills Bad People, which I had to miss the screening of rather sadly, Fear, which I intend to catch at the Golden Age screening of this upcoming Sunday, or the documentary classic India Matribhumi, which I discussed on the channel 3 or 4 years ago, along with Europa 51 actually. In any case, Journey to Italy is a magnificent work, one of the best films of its decade, as are a few of Rossellini's finer films of that decade, and even if you don't like the ending, you have to admit it was pretty damn riveting up until that point. I could feel that theatre audience loving it, and then some maybe seeming deflated by the final moments. Maybe I would be too if I wasn't prepared for it and hadn't seen it before, or maybe, as perhaps I felt when I first saw it, I don't remember how I reacted, I think I just innately accepted it. The reason I would have, though, I think, is because I kind of do believe in a magic of intimate love which can fluctuate and inspire annoyance at one's partner, as one has opened themselves up, been vulnerable to them, and seeing them act callous or callous in response or after such can be rather hurtful to some, and I don't believe that any major cynics of the concept of love will accept this film or this assessment of the film, and I would question whether some who might claim to believe in some magic of love actually do, and by love, and not appreciate this film, because by love, I don't mean some relatively satisfying business transaction you've made with someone you met via a dating app who fit the bill. I mean the sensations in the aftermath of the fall. The fall is the majesty, the magic of love. The lack of control, as frightening, dangerous, and emotionally devastating as it can and will be. The rush of joy and warmth so enrapturing as to make us pursue it again and again, with really no signs of stopping. And do any of us individually want that feeling to stop? I've known some who did, according to them, and I feel great sorrow for them and wish they hadn't experienced the hurt that they have. Although I also bet that if someone came along who expressed an interest in them, that cynicism would wither and they'd be welcoming some optimism back into their wounded pathos. At least some of these guys would, I suspect. And if it isn't magic, if it is just a matter of awe, personalities mixing well, some physical attraction and biological programming, might it as well be magic? Or maybe one just thinks the ending is lazy and banal. But that belief never crossed my own threshold, and I'm just trying to explain my own positive or accepting response to it, perhaps revealing myself as a naive sap in the process. whatever one thinks, one cannot deny that rhapsodic gallery scene, the beauty of the Phlegraean field sequence with all the evocative smoke, or George Sanders giving one of the best male performances in English language cinema up to that point in time. Shere Khan was one of the most enjoyable English language actors in all of cinema history, and we have to obviously say this in regards to Ingrid Bergman as well in the canon of female acting performances on screen, although Bergman delivered a number of those throughout her career, from Casablanca to Notorious to Europa 51 and Fear, also by Rosselini, obviously, to the late career triumph that was Ingmar Bergman's Autumn Sonata. Rossellini directed a few highly iconic films which depicted Italy as a lived in, distinct but comfortable, and to its subjects familiar environment, and Journey to Italy is when, compared with Rome Open City, Europa 51, Fear, or even to some extent The Machine That Kills Bad People, though, Journey to Italy demonstrated the non-Italian or specifically English language, another continental European's perspective. A Lithuanian's was explored thoroughly by Rossellini and Bergman in 1950s strong feature Stromboli, but specifically at least we get in Journey to Italy maybe a distinctly English language or English national perspective on the legendary illustrious nation of Italy. One of the very, very best films of 1954, along with Kurosawa's Seven Samurai, Hitchcock's Rear Window, Kazan's On the Waterfront, Anthony Mann's The Far Country, Alan Dewan's Silverlode, maybe Mihalis Kakogiannis' film Windfall in Athens, and Jack Arnold's Creature from the Black Lagoon. Yeah, why the bloody hell not? Thank you and good night. I hope you're all as well as you have ever been.